Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Josh, and this is your stimulus check update for the next stimulus package for Sunday, January 3rd. I hope everyone is off to a good and safe start to their Sunday so far. In this video, I'll be discussing updates in regards to the current relief package and the second stimulus check. I'll also be discussing the $2,000 direct payments, what lawmakers are saying about them potentially passing through Congress, and then I'll be wrapping up this video by answering some of the comments and questions that I received in my previous video. But first, if you wouldn't mind real quickly liking this video, give me a big thumbs up. It really just helps with the YouTube algorithm in terms of pushing this video out to other viewers like you, and hopefully helping other people like you as well. Okay, so with the increase in direct payments from $600 up to $2,000 still up in the air, some people took to the streets to vandalize Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi's homes. This came on Saturday as lawmakers left Washington without fully passing a bill for $2,000 direct payments. Messages such as, "Where's my money?" among other things, could be seen spray painted on McConnell's Louisville home. Nancy Pelosi, too, despite passing the bill through her chamber, could not escape her house being vandalized as well. Apparently, she came back to see graffiti on her garage door, in addition to a pig's head on the sidewalk. In a statement after seeing the vandalism on his house, McConnell said, "I've spent my career fighting for the First Amendment and defending peaceful protests. I appreciate every Kentuckian who has engaged in the democratic process, whether they agree with me or not. This is different. Vandalism and the politics of fear have no place in our society." McConnell is right. Even if you absolutely despise a politician for their policies or for who they are as a person, violence is certainly never the answer. Peaceful protesting is always certainly fine, but I'll never be an advocate of violence. Okay, so the main reason these checks are being held up and the outrage is due to the fact that Mitch McConnell is holding this bill up from being voted on. So you can definitely understand the frustration Americans have. We have Americans struggling to put food on the table or pay their rent, and yet they see someone like Mitch McConnell refusing to even allow for a vote on this bill. It's extremely frustrating. Now, the main reason, according to McConnell, on why this bill should not be put on the floor for a vote is that Donald Trump proposed three things in his request. Those three things were the increase in direct payments up to $2,000, repealing Section 230, and creating a commission to look into election fraud. Section 230, for those unfamiliar, gives protection to online websites such as Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, so they're unable to be sued for illegal content their users post online. So, if for example, you or I go onto Facebook and we post something incredibly illegal, Facebook cannot be sued because of our behavior. Donald Trump and some other conservatives feel that their voices are being censored online, so therefore they believe that websites such as Twitter, who they believe only allow a liberal point of view, should then no longer have their liability shields. Of course, even though most Democrats don't wish to revoke Section 230, Joe Biden has openly said he would like to repeal it as well. However, his reasoning is just a little bit different than conservatives, as he feels that Facebook and other websites allow for people to post ideas they know are obviously false. So while you might ask, why don't they just call McConnell's bluff and vote on the three proposals bundled into one? Well, most Democrats would be against the other two proposals, so by McConnell proposing that they vote on all three of them, he essentially just killed the bill. Not only that, but even if they did pass the bill in the Senate, it could not actually move on to the House. This is because Senate bills cannot technically amend the IRS code, which in this bill, it does. There is actually a constitutional requirement that revenue bills must be initiated in the House, so even if they were all on board for these three things, they need to pass it in the House first before it moves on to the Senate. Of course, once again, being that most Democrats oppose the other two measures, this thing is pretty much dead until McConnell has a big change in thought process. And then, of course, he would have to decide to put the standalone bill on the floor. Let's wait and see. It is certainly possible that some of his colleagues are able to convince him that increasing the direct payments up to $2,000 isn't some type of socialism for rich people. A respected colleague like Lindsey Graham could possibly do the convincing, who has repeatedly said that a $2,000 direct payment for individuals and families who are struggling is not socialism. Graham says, in his view, it is necessary in the times in which we live. And really, it's hard to disagree with that. We've had the worst pandemic in a century where the government forcibly made people lose their jobs and quite possibly their only source of income. For that, people should be compensated in some shape or form. Still though, lawmakers, not just McConnell, argue that the direct payments would be going to people with large incomes who weren't even affected by the virus financially. For example, up on the screen, and I showed this in one of my previous videos, someone with a $300,000 income with 3 dependents would still receive $2,500. Now, 3 kids is a lot, but earning a $300,000 income is also a lot of money, and if their income didn't get raised this year, then they probably don't really need any extra assistance. So that's the argument here among many lawmakers who oppose this bill. Okay, so as far as these $600 direct payments that are currently being sent out, most of you should have received it by now. If you haven't, I would expect that you should receive yours via direct deposit if you have it set up at some point this week. If you expect to receive a check in the mail for this payment, then it could take a couple of weeks longer, depending on how fast the mailing service is in your area. If you're eligible for the payment and you don't receive it by the middle of January, then at that point, what you'll need to do is claim a $600 credit on the tax returns you filed this year to ensure that you receive your money. Okay, so at this point in time, I'm going to move right along to answering some of the comments and questions that I received in my previous video. And if you do have any other comments or questions for me, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I do try to answer as many of the comments and questions as I possibly can, but for those comments and questions I'm not able to respond to, I do try to pick some of the more popular ones to answer in the next video in video form. Okay, so without further ado, let me go ahead and jump into the first comment of today's video, which is from Brandon. Brandon says, so what happens if you get the $600 and then they pass the $2,000? Okay, thank you so much for your question, Brandon. And if they end up passing a bill to increase the direct payments up to $2,000, then what would happen is you'd receive an additional payment of $1,400. Since the bill would just increase the direct payments from $600 up to $2,000, you wouldn't receive an additional $2,000. Not only that, but adults over the age of 17 who did not receive the $600 would be eligible for a direct payment and receive the full $2,000. Okay, moving right along to the next question in today's video, which is from Patricia. Patricia says, Happy New Year, Josh. I received my $600, but I did not get my granddaughter's $600. What's up? Okay, thank you so much for your question, Patricia, and I'm so sorry you never received your granddaughter's money. If you claim her as a dependent on your tax returns and she's under the age of 17, then you definitely should have received the money. If, on the other hand, you don't claim her as a dependent or she's not under the age of 17, then you would not have been eligible. Now, I will say I have seen a lot of people mention that they received their direct payments, but they didn't receive the money for their dependents. This seems like it may be some type of glitch in the IRS system, and it's possible they may send an additional payment out later on for $600. If they don't by the middle of January, then what you'll need to do is claim an additional $600 credit on your tax returns you filed this year in order to receive this money. Okay, moving right along to the next question of today's video, which is from Darlene. Darlene says, what about adult dependents on one's taxes like parents? Do they qualify for the second stimulus? Okay, thank you so much for your question, and for the $600 in direct payments they passed most recently, unfortunately, they were not. For the bill they passed most recently through both chambers and President Trump signed into law, only dependents under the age of 17 received the money. However, if they were to pass the Cash Act through both chambers and it signed into law, then all of a sudden, dependents even over the age of 17 would be eligible as well. If this were to pass, as mentioned in the previous question, all dependents would be eligible for the $2,000 in direct payments. Of course, as I also mentioned, people who already received the $600 would only receive an additional $1,400. Alright, moving along to the last question of today's video, which is from Pam. Pam says, is any of the stimulus money taxed? Okay, thank you so much for your question, Pam. And first off, as far as the unemployment benefits go, they will be taxed. Now, it is possible to have tax withheld from your benefits to help avoid owing taxes on this income, which is always a good idea. If you don't have any of it withheld, then it's always a good thing to set some of that money aside just to ensure that you don't have a large tax bill the following year. On the other hand, as far as these stimulus checks go, they are not taxable. So the $1,200 in direct payments we received earlier this year, in addition to the $600 check, will not be taxable at all. These direct payments are essentially an advance refundable tax credit, so they are not taxable. Alright, so on that note, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. If you did enjoy the content in this video, and you'd like to see more videos like it, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel It is completely free to do so, and it's a great support to me. Also, if you'd like to receive 4 free stocks from Webull, with 2 of them valued all the way up to $1,600 each, or 1 free stock from Robinhood just for signing up, please feel free to claim those free stocks by clicking the link in the description box below. And finally, if you join Rakuten with my referral link in the description box below and spend at least $20, Rakuten will give you $20 cash back. This means that you can buy an item through Rakuten with one of the referral links, such as Nike, for $20, which would be right around $22 after tax, and Rakuten will give you $20 just for making that purchase. This is just an incredible deal that I would love for everyone to take advantage of. Okay, so until next time, I'll see you guys, and I hope you have a great day today.